there has ever wanted to take some serious challenge, a horrible situation, and turn it into something positive? Most of us can't really do that. Most of us curl under the desk, give up, and have a really hard time. For myself personally, with my anxiety, it's something that I've struggled with, and now I'm trying to be more open and share my story, and I find that it's inspiring others, and that's what we're trying to do here today. But today I'm speaking with the queen of inspiration, the one who has really been able to take her challenging story, share it with the world, and help to motivate, inspire others. In studio we have Nalie Agustin, right? Agustin. Yes. I almost said Augustine, but it's Agustin, sorry. Nalie Agustin, but she doesn't want to be known as a breast cancer survivor, but that's just one piece of her. But she's an incredible woman, and we're going to talk to her about how she's found that internal strength to get to where she is today. Okay, so I know you don't want to be known as the breast cancer survivor. You've got so much other levels to you and so many other things you're doing, but that's kind of what brought you into this other world of inspiring people is your journey. So let's backtrack and talk a bit about it. Your diagnosis, your first diagnosis was 2013, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about that. How did you even get diagnosed with breast cancer? You were how old then?
24.
Okay, so like I wasn't ever even, that wasn't even on the radar. I was like clubbing and worried about where was my next drink, right?
Same here.
Okay, so what happened?
Yeah, I was your typical 24-year-old, busy. I had finished university, I started to work. I was very healthy, fit, and I ate well, and then next thing you know, I found lumps in my left breast, and I ignored them because I figured, you know, I work out a lot, so must be muscles, must be my pecs, but I completely ignored it, and I let a year pass, which was a big mistake, and finally the lumps were growing, and later I found out the lumps were actually tumors, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
How long was that, Nalie, from when you knew, well, you felt something, ignored it, and then got diagnosed? What was the time frame?
Almost a year. Yeah.
Wow, okay, so in hindsight, do you think that you or wish you would have done something better or differently? Or, okay.
Number one reason why I have my awareness campaigns on social media, like Feel It on the First, which encourages women to self-examine themselves every first of the month, just because I don't want anyone to repeat my mistake. Yeah. And I admit it was a huge mistake, and if I can share my story so people are more aware, and that way they can detect it earlier, therefore have their survival rates increase, that's what I'm doing.
I don't think you're unusual there. I know my cousin, who also is a survivor of breast cancer, she felt lumps, didn't do anything for a while, and then by the time she was diagnosed, she was further along, and it was in her lymph nodes and the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Cancer is always the last thing you think it is.
Yeah, especially at a young age like that.
Especially.
Okay, so you're given the diagnosis. Is it like a hammer on the head, or were you already like, nope, I can do this?
No, a huge hammer on the head. To be honest though, at that point, I didn't know anything about the world of oncology. So you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. So I was just like, okay, I'll take it one step at a time. Okay, I'll do chemo. Okay, I'll get a mastectomy. I didn't know what any of that meant. And I'm someone who lives in the moment, and that's like the number one advice I tend to give is really just take it one step at a time, day by day. So I took it quite well the first time, despite it being already extremely intense treatment, in fact. But it was the second time, this time around, where I was unfortunately diagnosed with the recurrence that metastasized to the lungs. That was a bigger hammer on the head, because I knew exactly what to expect at this point, and I did not want to have to do it all over again. And at this point, the doctors looked me in the eyes and said that, okay, this time it's stage 4.
Oh, geez.
It's in the lungs, and it's incurable. So it was really hard to stay positive at that point.
Absolutely. So the first time you didn't hear those words incurable, but the second time you did.
Exactly. What's unfortunate about metastatic breast cancer and the fact that it's incurable, it's something that we have to learn to live with for the rest of our lives. Statistics are not promising, but there's still a small survival rate of women who do get in remission, and if there's a 1%, then I'm hoping to be that 1%.
Well, I don't doubt you will be, because I'm sure, well, I believe anyways personally that a lot of our health has to do with our attitude and our mind frame and stuff, and there's a lot of research about that too, and you're certainly a positive person.
Yeah, exactly. So the words cancer-free can no longer technically be used once you're diagnosed with stage 4. Okay. There are those miraculous stories, which I'm hoping to be one again, but no, I'm still aiming for no evidence of the disease, which is NED. but I'm taking it one day at a time, like I said.
Which is NED. So now you're learning all the acronyms too.
Oh,
the whole world of oncology.
Whole world of oncology, I'm like an expert in it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's something you don't want to be an expert of unless you're an oncologist.
Right.
But unfortunately, I do know far too much.
So let me ask you, Nalie, I find a lot that when people when they have some sort of a disease or some sort of illness, sometimes they have to take care of everybody around them because everybody around them is sort of melting and falling apart, imagining what this could be. Was it like that for you at all with your support system?
I did find that I had that responsibility just because I knew that once I cry, my mom cries. Once I laugh, my brothers laugh with me. So knowing that, that was my motivation to stay strong and stay positive, because if I was strong, then I knew my whole family would be strong too. Hence all the movements that I've started and all chasing my dreams. Like, my family are not scared at all. They're excited for me. So definitely I would say we do feel that responsibility. So, but that's what keeps me going.
Is it tiring at all, having to be the leader of the pack in your family and set the tone?
I think, leadership is something that comes naturally sometimes, and I've always had that in me, even just for everything I do, whether it's playing basketball in high school and I was the captain, or just as a person overall. I think it was important. The challenge was to stay the same person I am. And because I've always been like a leader and someone who wanted to make a difference, my challenge wasn't, okay, like, let's make a difference. It was, okay, no, stay the same person you are, stay strong, and don't let this change you. That was my personal challenge.
So you've always been like that since you were a young child. Where did you get that from? Where did you learn it from? Is it something that's in your family where everyone is just super positive, or you have role models in that area?
Yeah, definitely growing up in a Filipino family, my parents definitely, and my grandmother especially, taught me about gratitude. And I think that's the foundation of resilience, the foundation of anything you want to overcome is gratitude. It's about finding that small thing that you're truly grateful of and ignoring everything else, focusing on the beauty in your battle. And I definitely say I must have got that from my family, just because I grew up with my grandmother saying, finish what's on your plate, because you have cousins in the Philippines who don't have this food to eat. And I was like, okay. So I think if we're talking about the root of where my gratitude and my positivity comes from, must be from my family. And
it sounds like they've always taught you about perspective too. Is like, you might be in one place, but take a look outside at yourself. It could be a lot worse.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. So now you've decided you documented your whole journey from diagnosis through treatments. I've watched many of them online. There's some when you're crying, you're kind of falling apart, others when you're dancing and very excited and happy. Yes. I myself know about being vulnerable and sharing a story in front of people, and I was very reluctant in the beginning, and then in the end was actually quite pleased at the reaction. What has it been like for you though, because your journey's been much longer than mine was, to open up like that and have somebody see you I don't see it as a point of weakness, I see it as a point of strength when you were letting yourself go. What's that been like for you to open up that way? Personally,
it's been therapeutic, and that was the main goal of launching my blog and sharing my entire journey from beginning to end, was because I needed to express myself. I needed to let it out. It was only after seeing the results of my initiative of doing it for myself that
cathartic blog
turned into, literally, I have to admit it. I really did it because I needed to express myself, and then suddenly it was helping others. And then that's where I was like, oh my gosh, this has a purpose. And it's no longer about me anymore. It's about all these people who reached out to me saying that my videos have helped them get through their darkest days, even information-wise. My blog then turned into a resourceful website that they would refer to compare chemotherapy treatments, because I would really document everything. And so I was like, okay, this is no longer my therapy, but my purpose and my duty to serve and to share and to inspire and to empower. So when you're saying that, I think what happens for a lot of people is when they start to share their story and they get a lot of reaction, they feel like, okay, now I understand why I got this disease, why I, whatever it is, lost my leg, why I lost my husband, my wife. And there was a reason for that. And even though it was horrible, lots of times people look back and say, I'm glad it happened to me because of what I've been able to do. Are you there? I don't think I'll ever be there. I think that it's unfortunate. You know, I'm never going to be like, everything happens for a reason. I'm glad I had cancer. If I could take everything back, I would. I wish no one would ever have cancer. But I think life is all about controlling what you can control. So it's not about what happens to you, but how you react to it. What I would never change is how I react to these situations. I will never say, oh, I'm glad I had cancer. But I'll be able to say I'm glad that I was able to turn it into something positive. And I'm going to keep doing that for anything life throws at me, whether it's cancer or whether it's a show that goes wrong on Saturday or something, you know, like it's all about finding what's going right in your life and turning it into something even better.
Nalie, you mentioned like a dark moment. You must have had a few of these dark moments. Did you ever have a point where you were like, that's it, I can't take it anymore, or I'm gonna die? Like, have you ever gone to that deep place? Okay.
Oh yeah, I was lying on the hospital bed when my doctor told me that it's incurable. The first thoughts I was having was my funeral. I was like, oh, and I couldn't stop crying, I couldn't move. And it took a good, couple of weeks of grieving. But I think it's when you grieve and you allow yourself to grieve and you allow yourself to get into those dark places that you have to accept it. And I think that's the second step, was accepting it. And then once I accepted it, I'm like, okay, this is what's going to happen. What are you going to do with it? You know, you have to move forward. So yes, I got into those dark places, and I'm not saying that, oh, once it was done, it never comes back. I have those moments, you know. So it's really about allowing yourself to get there, and then try to talk to yourself and understand what this means and why are you in this dark moment? What are you scared about? You know, and then once you start really thinking about what am I scared about, you take action and you find ways to, in the end, really like not worry anymore.
It's great advice, because I think most people don't embrace the yuckiness.
Yeah,
people run away. Yeah. They run away, and then it just builds up, which is not going to help your health anyways, and can create other issues. But it doesn't help us progress. It doesn't help us evolve as human beings if we are always repressing our emotions. So sounds like part of the gift you're sharing with people is embrace the awful of stuff too, let it pass through you, and once you let it pass, you can somehow find the gratitude or change your perspective or use your experience to help others.
Exactly.
Okay, which is exactly what you're doing. You're helping others. So let's talk about that. First of all, you have all your vlogs that people can watch, which, you know, document your whole journey. And now you've gone a step further, as if that's not enough. Let me take whatever free time I have and create this huge show, the Nalie Show, which is this Saturday night. Amazing. So tell me about the show.
Oh my gosh, it's funny you say that, and it's a good segue into the show, because I got that idea of doing the Nalie Show live when I was having thoughts of my funeral. And then I would close my eyes, and then I would think about, oh my God, what would my funeral look like? And I thought about the people that would be there. I thought about all the love and support. I thought about my dad giving me giving the eulogy and people giving speeches and all that. And then I'm like, you know what? Oh my gosh, like I started feeling all the love and support, and I'm like, what can I do to have all that love and support, like right here, right now, while I'm here? And then I was like, oh my God, let's gather everyone, do a live show, have people give talks and speeches, but I'm actually going to be there.
But it's not a eulogy.
But it's not a eulogy.
Which is perfect.
It's just going to be like, and my dad is actually going to give the toast to kick off the night for the VIP meet and greet in the beginning. So it's all about, again, taking what's happening to you and then flipping the script and turning it into something positive. And while I was bedridden in like my hospital bed, I started planning, and then I took the thoughts, you know, those really horrible thoughts, and I channeled it into creating something that I've always wanted to do and live my dreams. And then that's how the birth of the Nalie Show Live came. And then it was just one idea after the other. And then I was no longer thinking about my funeral. I was thinking about this live show that's happening on Saturday. And then 3 months later, my hair's grown back, and I'm about to host one of my biggest dreams. And I did not see those 3 months pass at all. And we're bringing international speakers, Carmelita Jeter, who's an Olympic gold medalist, fastest woman alive. Incredible story of resilience and just never giving up, and what it took to have that title. Chris Draft, NFL linebacker, lost his wife, unfortunately, to lung cancer 2 months after their wedding. But if you meet him, you'll be like, kind of like how you're talking to me right now, and you would never guess that I've been through what I've been through. That's how Chris Draft is. And of course, our Montreal local heroes, who all have different walks of life, different struggles, but my gosh, they turned their adversity into opportunity, and that's what it's about. But it's also a talk show, so there's games and contests and giveaways. I get to live my Ellen DeGeneres moment, where my audience gets surprises.
Okay, but you know she has guys come out with their shirts off.
Oh,
and
maybe
dance
there will be guys with shirts
then
off.
I'm coming.
Yeah. That's what sold you.
That's what's all. I don't really care about the
Some Magic
inspiration.
Mike dancing.
No, I'm just kidding.
There are going to be a couple of fun surprises with special performances, but it's overall a celebration, because that's what I wanted to change it into.
Yeah.
We've got great scans. It's about celebrating the little milestones. So there's also an interactive intermission with tons of food and tons of drinks, and I have amazing sponsors like Yum Creations, who's making her cakesicles, and Buena Notte, Brera, Delicious Vegan if you're vegan. It's just going to be an abundance of love, celebration, inspiration. It's hard to explain because there's so much going on.
And it's not about cancer, and that's what.
Well,
that's
my
what
story is
like.
cancer. My battle is
your
cancer.
story is, but that's just one story.
That's
That's
one
what
story.
I like about it, and it's not about what the problem is. It's about what we do with the problem. So
Exactly.
anybody can take away something
Exactly.
from the event, no matter what their struggles are. And we all have different struggles.
Exactly, because what I realized was those emails started coming in after I launched my blog, and it was not even just about cancer. It was like, "Hi Nalie, I'm going through a divorce right now, and your videos really uplift me to you know keep on going and like not let this bring me down, from depression to disabilities and then other kinds of illnesses." So even if you're not going through anything, like regardless, coming to the show will definitely change your life and make you want to chase your wildest dreams. Because if I'm on stage on Saturday under the spotlight after going through what I've been through with cancer still in the lungs, just imagine what other people can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do people get tickets to your event?
Yes, it's at the NalieShow.com. So the Nalie, Nalie show.com.
We'll have the link.
Yes, please link it.
I think it's already on there anyway.
Click there, click there.
Click purchase, click purchase.
Yeah, and we're donating the proceeds to metastatic breast cancer research.
Amazing.
Where I interviewed a researcher at my hospital, and I grilled him with questions. I'm like, "What are you doing with the money?" And he told me all about it, and I'm like, "Okay, you deserve this," and that's where the money's going.
That's
so
great.
we're also making a difference.
Well, congratulations on your event.
Thank you.
And just, I really admire you, Nalie. I'm super impressed at what you've been able to do.
Be there at St. James Theatre in Montreal on Saturday, September 23rd. Seats are a little limited, so be sure to get your tickets now at thenalieshow.com.